inner space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of CSLDallas. Its continuing mission, opening to discover wholeness, celebrate connection, and ignite transformation. To boldly go where no CSLDallas has gone before.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Marcia Boone.
And I'm Jim Barong. And I'm just going to tell you, we both feel the same about this. We're more than excited and honored to be here to do this for you, for us, and to serve you in this way. I'm going to share you a little bit of what this center has done for me, and I'm going to put it around money, because that's what we're talking about right now, the prosperity around money. Oh, thank you. I can hear myself real well. With those ears. When I came in here in 08, I was unknowingly affirming my decline financially, and I was experiencing that. And if you all have been anywhere around that or anything, but it got to the point it was actually scary. And after being here a short period of time, I learned that, okay, I realized what I was doing. And as I was doing that, it didn't feel right, but I didn't realize what I was doing. I thought I was just being very practical and very matter of fact, and that's how things are. Well, after being here a while, I started making the affirmations, and I talked to our practitioners, the ministers, I put it in the box, on, and I felt that I am a prosperous person. And not just around money, everything, but specifically I addressed money. Well, I had a shift, and I decided one of the things I was going to do is I was going to go ahead and pledge. I was going to pledge what I expected I would make, and I did it at 10%. My money manager said, we can't do that, you've got to cut back and do this. And I went, no, I can't. That's what I have to do. I have to be what I am. Well, I made that pledge, and I'm not going to tell you it was easy, but it was strictly out of faith. It's that feeling you go, that feeling rises up inside, you listen to that voice, and you do it. And I put myself on the line, and maybe that's part of it, but because of that, by the end of that year, that 10%, I had made that projected amount and more. And the year after that, I did it bigger. It upped at 40%, it went up 40%. The year after that, 40% went up 40%. And it's unfolding again. And every time, it was not the right thing to do financially. It was not, in a tactical manner, but not according to my money manager. But he kept saying the third year, do it. So I want everyone in this room, everyone who comes through those doors, to experience that and more. You are now. If you're not, you will, because you are prosperous, every one of you, at the level you think you are, and think bigger.
Thanks, Jim. Our Adventure in Spirit program consists of the entire month of October dedicated to a topic of abundance and prosperity. Wednesday night series by Reverend Petra, Dr. Petra and Reverend Karen, The Abundance Book. Continuous prayer by the AIS committee.
And I was just going to add on that quick, as many of you know this, but as a committee, we started meeting in July.
Right.
Yeah. And starting last month, September, we meet once a week together as a group, there are 10 of us, and pray for the prosperity of this community. So it's from the grassroots, each one of you, each one of us, everyone who's been coming through that door now and tomorrow, and pray for this prosperity. So it starts in a big way, as you know.
Pledging your financial support and celebrating.
Yay.
Yay.
Yay. Yay.
Our 2016 goal is $708,000 and 205 pledges and beyond. And let's say that all together. $708,000 and 205 pledges and beyond.
Jay.
It is the nature of Spirit to give. I want to tell you a little bit about how I came about coming to the CSLDallas. I literally walked in the door in August of 2013, which is a little bit over 2 years ago, and knew I was home. I immediately signed up for the new member class and also foundations. And over the past 2 years, I've continually taken classes. I noticed a shift in who I am. And now, as Karen mentioned, I am in inward journey, which, you know, we're a couple of weeks in, and I just see a shift in myself and who I am, in my abundance, financially, personally. Taking those classes, I've met people in the center, built some relationships with those who will be lifetime. It seems like every need that I even think about gets met. I needed my resume done. Fran helped me redo my resume so that my new job is coming.
Yes.
And because I've gotten so much from this community, I want to give of my time, my finances, and everything. And I have done that and will continue to, and will build upon that year after year. I just don't know what I would do without this place. I feel abundantly blessed to just be here. And also to be part of the AIS committee. I've grown so much even working with those guys. Everyone's so great and wonderful. So thank you for that. And now we'll have a personal testimony from Karen and Jeff Fritz.
We tithe here because we love this community. I love this community. I love that this community stands for acceptance, diversity, inclusion. I love that when I come here, I can be real. I don't have to impress anybody. I don't have to sell myself to anybody. I know that I am accepted how I show up every Sunday at every event, just as I am and where I am in my spiritual walk. That's why I love this community. That's why I support this community.
And so we're sitting there at a table, and my job was just to take the stickers off of these sheets that were typed and then put them on the envelopes. And what was just so sweet was the love that I actually was feeling as I'm looking at these names. I know so many of these people. I care so deeply for these people that I've come to know them in a way that I've never experienced before. And so that's this power of community. And I want that for me. I'd like that for other people. And tithing, it's just like breathing anymore. It's like easy. It doesn't take any effort. It's just natural, and all the stuff that happens, we're good at just letting it happen. And so these things have really become part of the true fabric of love and freedom that is so important about our relationship with this community. That's why we're here. And we aren't going anywhere else.
Okay, and think as you'll know this, but every year, as a group, your core councils, your leadership, with consensus determines what our next, for 2016 this time, are going to be our key priorities. We're really going to focus a special attention. The first one, and I'll talk a little bit more of this in a second, is about visitors becoming members, becoming owners of the community. The other one to talk about in another week will be diversity initiatives. And then in the final week, or this last to final week, we'll talk about small group support, connection, and care, what that really is to us. And what I'm going to talk to you about is visitor, member, owner. Kind of what is that, and what are we going to be doing around that? is, every time someone walks in the door, we want to have a container, as you all did probably the first times, where you feel welcome and safe, and you can spend that time, if today's your first day, to sit and listen and absorb what's here for you. And 3 people can get totally 3 different things out of it. But make that kind of container where it's exciting, life-affirming for you, for that individual. And then as a member, when you have that, then we want to make sure, embrace and support you in that, to let you know there are more ways to get even more out of it. Learn more about science of mind, what that is, so you can individually experience that in your lives, not only understanding it, but experiencing it so that you actually carry it out into the world. And then as you get involved like that, how do we support you in becoming more of an owner? Because for many of us, including myself, is that then you want to give back. You've learned, you've brought in, you've enhanced yourself, and now what can I do to come back? And so there's a lot of things to be around that, a focus, even maybe a little different focus on something we do, but maybe some additional things. So as you can see, it's a way to bring someone and carry them through. It's like having a party, let's say, or something. You don't just open the door, let them walk in, but how do you really bring that person and nurture them for them? And as you all know, when you help someone else, you help yourself. When you help each as an individual and groups, you help the community. And when you work as a community, it grows so much bigger than you can even touch and takes on a life of its own. So this is the first one we're going to be focusing on as we start 2016. And look forward to all your participation in that. And of course, you'll obviously hear more. But this is that transporter thing. Think about someone coming in, and we're going to, particle by particle, bring them over here into a substantive person like all y'all sitting down here. I conjugated y'all. I was amazed. And then something's come up. It says October 18th. So that's in, 2 weeks. We're going to have a community luncheon. And so we ask you, and we do mention we'll have vegetarian and vegan options there. But it's going to be a chance to celebrate as a community. So please do put that in your calendars and invite friends. Another good time to be here to meet us and talk and get to know each other socially. We're all such nice people. My gosh, I look in this room, I'm going to hug everybody again. It's just great. Do you want to?
Sure. If you did not receive a pledge card, we will have a booth right outside the bookstore outside in between services and after each service in October. And so see our table in the breezeway. Once again, altogether, $708,000 and 205 pledges and beyond. Thank you.
Thanks, Marcia and Jim. My name is Andrew Tinker. I'm the music director here, and I'd like to share with you an original song this morning. It's called There's Nothing New Under the Sun. And really what it's about is we are all there at the inception of the entire universe. And that first inception, that first energy is us right now. It's always been, it's always going to be. And there's nothing new under the sun. We've always been. Darkness and light, blindness and sight, up, down, left and right, what does it matter to rings around Saturn? A girl and a boy are lost in a void. With our beacon deployed, but they'll never see us way out here on Venus. On these other planets, they don't understand us, but there's nothing new under the sun. can we use it? I'd like to impart that our science and arts aren't so far apart, but my lips seal in anguish. I don't speak the language, and they simply smile at us in our rank and file, 'cause there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. The light that I see seems so new to me, but not to Mercury, and it's in the future to our friends on Jupiter, and onward it goes, and outward it flows, to no end, I suppose. It's our radiation in all of creation, and just where it's darkest, it's just getting started, 'cause there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun.
Love that. I loved what Andrew said, that, there's no new matter, actually. It's all the same stuff, and we're actually part of the star dust, right? We're made up of it. And so whether it's Jupiter, Mercury, or me, we are it. It is us. And that's what we're really going to talk about today as we beam me up. And it's all about, can we and are we willing, and do we focus on receiving our good? How many people like to receive their good? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not every hand went up, though. It's interesting. So again, this we'll talk about that. This whole month is live, love, and prosper, and so bringing the spiritual principles and universal laws forward. And so I'm talking about one of them today, so that we can each week focus on something that will increase the abundance and prosperity in our life. And again, that's not just financial abundance.
I love Emma Curtis Hopkins' definition of prosperity, being able to do what you want to do whenever you want to do it and who you want to do it with. And so it's not ever this like, well, I can't go here or whatever. It's prosperity, doing what we want to do when we want to do it. And I added, and who you want to do it with. Because why do it with somebody you don't? Been there, done that. No. So, I hope they're not watching the video. Okay. So beam me up. Beam me up is all about I accept my good. That's our mantra for the week. I accept my good. Try it. I accept my good. All right? And so when Captain Kirk or Spock or anybody, would say, beam me up, they went off to some new planet or, they decided to go and help. I can't give away the third week's title. I keep wanting to say it. But anyway, they go off to some planet or whatever. And then if you see the transporter room, and we actually have one in Pankey Hall, so I invite you to go. It was beautifully done, a transporter room. But when you see the transporter room and they say, beam me up, it's not like, here I am, all complete. It is. The particles sort of start coming through. And it comes through a little more, and then all of a sudden you see the person sort of in their fullness, right? And I thought that this was a pretty good metaphor for how we sometimes need to grow our receivership, our little particles of receivership. Sometimes we got to grow them. It's just not like, oh, here I am, I'm ready. I'm ready to receive my good. And so no matter where we are in our life's journey, I believe that we each need to expand our receptivity. I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, did you hear this phrase? It's better to than to receive. Yeah, it's better to than to receive. So we have to reprogram that, perhaps, because giving and receiving are the same. But where has the emphasis been? It's like it's better to give than receive. Well, what if it's better to receive than give? If it's one and the same, it's just where are we needing to place our focus and our attention on? And so this is about expanding our own receptivity no matter where we are. It does no good if there is a receptacle unless we plug into it. The light ain't coming on. All right, so Ernest Holmes starts off with this for us. And he says, there is nothing in the universe that limits you or that would or could desire to limit you. So there's nothing that would limit you, right? There is nothing in the universe that withholds from you, because in so doing, it withholds from itself. So why would spirit, why would life, why would love, whatever we choose to call it, want to withhold? Because if it's withholding from itself, it's from us, it's withholding from itself. And the only way that it actually can have an experience of itself is through us and through other aspects of life. And so there's nothing in the universe that limits us except for perhaps one thing. Can you guess? There you go. Y'all are smart cookies this morning. So you're some part of its purpose. And so spirit seeks, it urges, it like pushes against us. It's pushing against us from the inside out. Let's just imagine that. We imagine this pushing into us, but what about life is pushing against us from the inside out to express itself? And it wants to express it, and it wants to express it big. And so, here's this, Ernest Holmes will tell us there's this horn of plenty, but it can't give anything unless we're willing to receive it. So we've got to be willing to accept our good. And I had discovered this story a few years back, and I knew I needed to share this with our community today. And it is a brilliant story, and you can Google it and see pictures. But there was a study at Amherst College on a squash. So get a squash in your mind. A squash, the vegetable. Get a squash. Maybe it's orange, maybe it's yellow, but get the squash in your mind. I'm going to make sure I don't lose any of the data here. But this squash was basically planted in good soil. They put it in the good soil. And then they that squash grew to about the size of a person's head, I know y'all can picture that now, it came to about this size, the researcher put a metal band around it. They put a metal band around it because they wanted to see what might be the lifting power of this squash. There's some equation that as it starts to grow, it actually has this lifting power, like we too can lift. And it wanted to see how much lifting power it would have. They estimated that it might press, now this is a squash, folks, 500 pounds. How many people can bench press 500 pounds? Reverend Vince raised his hand first service. Where is he? He did. So they predicted 500 pounds, okay? Now, it reached that amount in a month. In 2 months, 1,500 pounds. Then 2,000 pounds. And at that point, they had to strengthen the bands around it because this squash was going to break the bands. All right? So it finally reached the pressure of 5,000 pounds. They predicted 500, and it broke its rinds. It split open. Okay? Here's the interesting stuff that they discovered after it split open. When the researchers saw upon the squash being opened, they were amazed to find that there was a mass of fibers that had developed in an attempt to fight away the obstacles that was hindering its growth. So it did something new. It had a new perspective. It grew a mass of fibers. They had not ever seen that before because it was like the universe is pushing outside and I am going to grow, by gosh, right? Further investigation, it revealed that 80,000 feet of roots had growing out in all directions to receive the strength for the fibers and receive its good. 80,000 feet underneath the ground, right? And it wanted to receive its good of this life-expanding substance called the soil. That's us. Let us be the squash. Right? It tapped into the abundance of the universe for its strength and for its good, and it received it, and it did it in a way that it had never done before. I'm inspired by a squash. I didn't think that was possible. It didn't accept any limitation, it allowed all the flow of the good to flow through it, right? And so there is nothing in the universe that withholds from you. It's merely us and up to us to determine how much do we want to receive. Okay? So, no matter how abundantly Spirit may pour its gifts out into you, you must be willing to accept that which is given. So Holmes says, the Spirit responds to us by a direct impartation of itself through us, but it can only give to us what we can take. That is what I trust you'll take home into your life. Only what we can take. It imparts of itself only as we partake of its nature. Its infinite knowingness becomes our wisdom only in such a degree we embody intelligence. So, it imparts, we must receive. It imparts, we must receive, right? He tells us, let's just declare this not once, not twice, but 100 times a day. Good and more good is mine. There is no limit to the good that is mine. Everywhere I go, oh, great, y'all are going to do this later, but come on with me. I love this. Y'all are ready than first service. Okay. Wow. I'll start again. Good and more good is mine. There is no limit to the good that is mine. Everywhere I go, I see this good. I feel it. I experience it. It presses itself against me, flows through me, expresses itself in me, and multiplies itself around me. Wow. Love that. So, here's the question. Would you like to go to lunch?
Yes.
All right. Would you like to go to lunch? Oh, yeah. How about if I buy your lunch? Oh, yeah. How about if I buy your lunch? Absolutely. Would you like over here? Would you like right? Okay, meet me on October 18th. I'm going to buy your lunch. It's Mexican. It's brilliant. It's great. My goodness, Hami, that is a beautiful outfit you're wearing. How many times when someone gives us a compliment do we deflect? Oh, well, this whole thing, I just, I almost said that when Tracy Brown said that earlier. She said, Karen, I really love that. I was going to say, oh, it is so old. I need to listen to my talk after this. How many times when the universe is wanting to give us something, I'll pick up the tab today. Oh, no, it's okay, I got it. Okay, well, how about if I get the tip? No, really. Let's go halvesies. I want y'all to hear this, because it can be as minute as, that's a beautiful outfit, or I love your new haircut. Oh, really, she messed up. Instead of, thank you. You're gorgeous today. You're handsome. Right? Thank you. How much are we willing to receive? It's, that old story of, the person on the roof and the helicopter and the boat and the this and the that come by. No, I'm waiting for God. Well, I sent the helicopter and the boat and the no, but I'm waiting. We have this concept of what we think it is that we're to receive. But it's limitless. It has a lot more imagination than we do. Anybody want to go to lunch? I'm in trouble now. And do we believe that we deserve our good? So again, think of the transporter. We're each on that, so no matter where we are, we can go a little further, right? I'm really into homes today. I hope you are too. Our belief sets the limit to our demonstration of a principle which of itself is without limit. It's worth repeating multiple times in different ways. It is ready to feel everything because it is infinite. It is not a question of its willingness nor of its ability. Again, it is entirely a question of our own receptivity. We should endeavor to stop attempting to limit God. We can all be on the beach right now, right? Imagine we're all on the beach together, and we each at the same time reach down and pick up a handful of sand. We all have got a big old handful of sand. How much sand is left on the beach? Where in the heck does that sand come from? Right? It's limitless. So we can take and receive as much as we want, and it's not touching you. The whole beach is still there for anybody else to come pick up their handful of sand. And if we were to attempt, if there were enough people and enough hands to take out the sand, we'd have to go very deep, folks, I imagine. But somewhere there'd be more sand. I don't know how it's produced. Does it keep tumbling the rocks? Go Google that. We'll figure that out later. But, see, God gives in the abstract, but we receive in the concrete. And so, what are we willing to receive? No matter what it looks like, this week we could say yes. Yes. Oh, you want to pay for my lunch? Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. I'm so grateful. Anybody going to do a Starbucks run? Yes, I'm in. I want a grande latte. This is what we could do in our life. Because we've been taught, it's better to than to. We're going to have to reverse that a little bit, I suspect. And I'm saying this in the month when we're asking you to give us money in 2016. It's all the same. Because guess what? The more you receive, it's one and the same. I want y'all to be the biggest philanthropists you've ever seen. Every one of you. Because you'll give it away. Some portion, whatever. So the great lesson is that life delivers itself in our capacity to receive it. Now, and it can only, The outpouring can only fill the container that's lifted up. Now, this is what most of us tend to do. Okay, y'all just study that for a second. There's a whole talk right there. First off, we could look at, well, how big is it? But what did you notice first off? Can you receive much in that? If I'm throwing apples at you? No. If it's raining? If there's money being thrown from the sky and you have to catch it in the bucket? No. Last year when I talked on this topic, I remember that, I had a pitcher of water, right? And I was asking people, well, how big is your container? And then I showed a swimming pool. And everybody went, oh, I didn't think of a swimming pool. But behind it was one of those endless pools. Behind the swimming pool was what? An ocean. Think of an ocean of stars. That's much bigger than the Pacific. How big is our container? But it's not going to do anything if it's turned upside down. We need to be the receptor, the receiver of it. No matter what, we cannot contract the infinite, but we can expand the finite. We're it. We can expand that which we receive. We can expand that which we want. We can say, yes, I deserve that raise. Give me even a little more. Whatever. We can expand it, right? So it's impossible to receive anything that your mind refuses to accept. And so we must expand what our mind can hold. How big is our container? And keep it turned upright, right? So this week, what I would like for us all to do, this is our homework. You ready? This week, what I would like for us all to do is to say yes to all our good. Because it's going to come, and it will come in various forms all week. And when it comes, just remember, yes. Want to go to lunch? Yes. Okay, October 18th. Because I owe some people from the first service lunch, so I got smart. I'm glad y'all caught up with me. I do. I'm like, okay, how can I do this again? If someone was throwing money, you'd catch it, right? But if I said, anybody want any good? Yes. Not everybody would raise their hand. Well, what is it? What you gonna give me? But if I say, anybody want some money? Oh, right? But this week, we're gonna say yes to this life itself, the divine. We're going to say yes to all that it wants to lavish us with. Can I give you a back rub? Marcia, you still owe it. I'm going to accept it after the service. She was like, can I just squeeze your shoulders? And I went, not now. But later, I'm going to say yes, right? If someone gives you a compliment, if someone offers you some help, if someone, wants to do something for you, receive, receive, receive. Expand the receivership. All right. God can only give you what you can take. So if you don't want to do it for yourself, do it for God, Spirit, life itself. So come on Wednesday nights. Dr. Peter and I are going to do the whole Wednesday night series for the month. I want to tell you about this little book. We both chose this book. Now, I think in the bookstore they're slightly bigger because this is an older copy and I've used this. Same size? Oh, beautiful. The same size. Look, you could put that in your pocket. You put it in your purse. You can take it anywhere you want to. This is a powerful book, The Abundance Book by John Randolph Price. It has 10 statements of principles in here. And we're to do this for 40 days. We're going to move on through October. Join Dr. Peter and I. Every day, he says, read one. Here's the first one. You ready? God is lavish, unfailing abundance, the rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. This all-providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as me, the reality of me. So you say that, then you meditate for 15 minutes on it. You do a little journaling. And you just keep that before you all day. Bless you. The next day you go to number 2. So there's 10. So after 10, you're going to go and you're going to start it again. You're going to repeat them 4 times. Promise you, you'll move through that transporter device and the particles will fall more and more into place. So get the little abundance book and we'll be using it together. So speaking of doing things 4 times, Andrew, we're going to have a little music and we are all going to do the closing treatment together as an affirmation because y'all were ahead of the game. We're still going to do it 4 times. So I'm going to invite you to stand with me if you're able and want to. Now, this is your own prayer, but also it's a prayer for every single one of us in this room. So take it in and express it how you want. Okay? We're going to do it 4 times. I'll lead you through it. Here we go. Good and more good is mine. There is no limit to the good that is mine. Everywhere I go, I see this good. I feel it. I experience it. It presses itself against me, flows through me, expresses itself in me, and multiplies itself around me. Again, good and more good is mine. There is no limit to the good that is mine. Everywhere I go, I see this good. I feel it. I experience it. It presses itself against me, flows through me, expresses itself in me, and multiplies itself around me. Again, good and more good is mine. There is no limit to the good that is mine. Everywhere I go, I see this good. I feel it. I experience it. It presses itself against me, flows through me, expresses itself in me, and multiplies itself around me. Take a breath. Feel the energy in the room. It's multiplying itself around me. Final time for today. I'll make sure this gets posted on Facebook. Give it all you got. Good and more good is mine. There is no limit to the good that is mine. Everywhere I go, I see this good. I feel it. I experience it. It presses itself against me, flows through me, expresses itself in me, and multiplies itself around me. And so it is. Beautiful. Woo! Thank you, Andrew. That was beautiful. Can you feel it? Man, it multiplies itself all around me, all around you. And that's what this community is about. It is for each and every one of us to know that we are magnificent. We are that living, breathing body of God that expresses itself in this community. And that as we do it, every single person prospers. Every single person knows it. And we're all on the same path. And it is in that giving and receiving, in that receiving and giving, that life flows. Nothing lives in a stagnant pond for long. So I invite you to think about what you've received and to give that which you want to give in this moment to the community, because we give it to every single person around us and the people that have just walked in the doors today.